Gary Lineker has called out the BBC for being sports-washed by the Russia World Cup in 2018, admitting he regrets the part he played in hosting the sports event. Gary Lineker, 61, has spoken about the BBC being sports-washed after choosing to condemn the World Cup for being held in Qatar at the weekend. The star has admitted he also failed to see the controversial elements of the tournament back in 2018, which was held in Russia. Gary expressed how he felt the BBC should have spoken up about Russia back then, and that he feels uncomfortable when he thinks about the sports washing that occurred from the broadcaster. Reflecting on his stance 4 years ago, Gary suggested he regretted not calling out Russia in the same way he has done with Qatar. He added that the BBC had not done enough to tackle the controversies of the 2018 host nation at the time. "I think we were sports-washed 4 years ago, when it was in Russia," he told BBC Radio 4's media show. "I think we were all going how great it was, and this and that and the other, and that's how sportwashing works. We didn't talk perhaps enough about the other issues. So it was deemed the right thing to do." FIFA has been criticized for allowing the World Cup to go ahead in Qatar due to the country's treatment of the LGBTQ community and women in the Middle Eastern country. Ahead of the opening game between the hosts and Ecuador on Sunday, Gary delivered an introduction that drew attention to the rights of migrant workers, LGBT people and women in the nation as part of the BBC's coverage. While many are calling this the most controversial World Cup in history, Gary has argued that when Russia hosted the competition 4 years ago, it should have faced just as much scrutiny. Russia's ruthless invasion of Ukraine at the time, which escalated into a war earlier this year, should have sparked a lot more criticism according to Gary, but instead people largely ignored the controversy. While FIFA faced calls to strip Russia of its right to host the tournament after it annexed Crimea in 2014, former President Sepp Blatter still went on to grant them the honor 4 years later, with little recognition of the conflict.